Here it says, during the 17th century, three families, the T, W's, and Y's, owned the five buildings that constitute the center of their village. The F, G, I, M, and S. Okay, cool. Each family owned at least one of the buildings, and each building was owned by exactly one of the families. The historical evidence established the following. So we know that each of them is at least going to have one.
Mhm.
Okay, so the Williams owned more of the buildings than the Y's. So Williams are more than the Y. So I read this, and do you stop and think about this for a second of what this means?
I guess I just take it as like, okay, if Williams have 2, they have 3. If they have 1, they have 2.
Well, I'm thinking that so I think it a step further where I
Oh,
think
I see, like, if every
like if they so the Williams could have two and then they could have one, or it could be three and then one,
mhm.
but it could never be three and then two, right? Because there would be nobody for the T's then.
Well, if what do we have 5? So if they have 3, couldn't they have 1, 1, and 2? Oh, no, that'd be only 4. Yeah, no, never mind, I know what you mean.
And so what's important here is just like I now know, just because I took the extra 20 seconds, I now know that Y is for sure one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so it's either three and two or two and three. Like I don't know which one is which, but that helps me significantly. Do you agree? Like, is that
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay, so it's like actually applying the rules. Like, what does this actually mean?
Mhm.
So neither the I nor the M belong to the owner of the F. Okay, so if you have the F, you don't have the I or you don't have the M. And then either the tents own the stable or the Y's own the inn or both. So I know the stable is either with the Trents or the Y's.
Mhm.
So what I would do here is I would actually create my two worlds. And I'm either thinking about putting it where like I have 3 and 2 or 2 or 3, or I'm thinking about doing it where like one is the stable and one is like not the stable. But I think what I would do is I would do one where there's 3 and one where there's just 2.
Mhm.
Then I would copy it. So not on circle slash, but on whenever you use worlds, the rule of thumb is kind of like if you have to do more than 4 worlds, it's not worth doing worlds.
Oh, okay.
Not on circle slash though. But
Yeah.
if you could do 4 less worlds and figure out a lot, then it's
Mhm.
worth it for timing wise.
So wait, in the world though, wouldn't do we have 6 lines? We have 1 extra, don't we?
Oh, 3 and 1
So
or 2 and 2. There we go.
okay, yeah.
And then so now what I would probably do is okay, so we have that rule taken care of completely.
Mhm.
Sorry, the W's own more than Y. I actually there we go. Okay. Neither the I nor the M belong to the owner of F, so we can't really do anything about that yet. So this is the one that I would want to determine, do I want to add or not? So either the T's own the S or the Y's own the in or both. So if the T's own the S, then the Y could own the in, but like one of those has to happen.
Wait, the Y can't or both. Is it saying that the Y
So like either so like T owns the stable or Y owns like one of these has to happen. Or they both could happen.
Oh, okay. I
But one of
misunderstood
them
for a
for
second. Okay.
sure has to happen. So T owns the stable or Y owns the inn. So I'm thinking if okay, so like I would like to think about this for a minute before I would go in and I'd be like, okay, because like if they both would happen like in world number 1,
Mhm.
I don't think that can happen because of this rule here.
Oh, F
Because
gonna have to be with the
I
M.
can't have F and M. So I like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I know that they both can't happen. So either one has to happen. So that's where I would then split this.
Mhm. Okay, where 1
I
is
would make
happening.
one where S is here and then one where this is I. But what's important is that this is not I. So that this would become I, right? And this is not S, so this would become S. So what else can you determine for these two worlds? There is something important.
F or M. Wait, neither the in or the mill belong to the owner of the fortune. So F or M have to be split between either the T or the W, or Y or the W.
So do we know where either one goes for sure?
No.
Where, okay, actually, no, I think we do. For one, we know where everybody goes in one.
Neither the inn nor the mill belong, either the Trent or the stable.
If we have F, then what happens? See, this is why I draw my contrapositives. Because if we have I, then what don't we have?
F.
And if we have M, then what don't we have?
F.
So what happens in world one? If we have I and W.
M has to go in W.
Well, F has to go in Y.
Yeah.
And then we would have M, and then the last one is G. So that's completely figured out.
Okay.
And then and then in world two, I'm thinking, okay, so I and M, and so if we have I or M, we can't have F. So once again, I'm like, F cannot go here. Because we would have to have, oh wait, never mind, I or M there. So I'm thinking, okay, so we have F. M and F cannot be together. So then I know that this is M or F.
Oh, so we know G goes in W at least.
Yes. So that's cool.
Basically fully determined.
Yep. All right, so we have half of it done. So now we have to think about the other half. So I'm like, all right, so we did one. So first I'm like, can S and I both happen here? So actually what I think I would do is instead of putting them both in, I'll let it be an option. But since this one's a little bit more difficult, I could do one where I put S here and one where I put I here, but I'm not going to say like this for sure can't be I, or T can not for sure be S in the other one for a second. And I'm going to think like, is there anything else that I know because of this? I'm like looking at it, I'm like, is anything else? Can anything else happen? If F, you cannot be with I or M. So that doesn't really help.
Yeah, we just know that they're going to have to be split. That's it.
Yeah. Can this be, I'm going to say that, can this be I?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue. So
yeah, G would split.
Yeah, so I think I would then go into the questions right here. Like I wouldn't split it again.
Okay.
And I would just do that. And I think you'll be shocked at how fast you'll get through questions.
Yeah, because well, I'm sure I'll be able to answer most, like a good portion with just the first diagrams.
Oh yeah. Oh, like except for this, so we can even do like, so the traditional first question. I have traditional first question here. I'm just going to erase that. Well, no, I don't want to erase it. I'm just going to move it. So our traditional first question. Oh, I still would use my, I reread my scenario. Like I reread my rules to do the first question. Do you do that?
Yeah, I don't even diagram anything. I just look at the rules and apply it at each one.
Okay, perfect. That's what I use it as an opportunity to reread them, like in case I missed anything. So go ahead and try 14.
Let's see. So B is out. Disabled. Okay, so what do I got here? The fortune. Oh, Y, D's out. C's out.
Okay.
Oh, and so is E, so it's A.
Excellent. And then I skip and go to, I think even skipping like and going to the if questions is going to save you time.
I know, I'm gonna try that for sure.
I'm gonna make these smaller for you. How much do you ever finish a section?
Oh, for games, I almost always finish it. It's just I find that I don't know if it's like time getting to my head, but I don't always finish it perfect.
Okay. So
That's
it's
it.
almost like you need more time, like just to so you can double check stuff.
Yeah, like because like especially with could be true questions, like if it wasn't timed, I would sometimes like if I couldn't go through it and with like when we did and we could cross them out and I needed to diagram them, if I found one that worked, sometimes I'll just be like, it's this one. But if I had more time, I would maybe double check.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, and then of course when that happens, I like missed a rule or something.
But even could just be like you don't have to like overly like relearn how to do games, but just like maybe spending more time at the beginning, like playing, like learning how to play with them a little bit, like an appropriate amount, so that you can go in more confident, so you're able to do like I don't know, like
Yeah, so
people just visualize it and go. Like I'm like, no, I have to take at least a minute and like see like, okay, what happens if this happens? What happens if this happens?
substitution questions though, I will admit, are like a bit of a different story. Those are like hit or miss because if it's not like super obvious to me, then
And that's where worlds make all the difference.
okay, yeah, that might help me then with substitution.
Because essentially like you can picture like exactly what you need to happen and how it impacts everything else all in one visual.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I would now go on to number 16. Yeah.
See, with this one, I always learned like with the must be trues, like so I'd put Y has M, and then I always did the opposite. Like that's what Brad taught me would be like the Trents own the forge. So I'd put the Trents where they don't own the forge and then figure it out. So then if it works, then that must not be true. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Like,
so I would brute force this entirely.
Yeah. See, to me, that's insane.
Well, to be honest, though,
I teach people that way when I'm teaching bait, like for them to understand the concepts, but you have to graduate from that.
Yeah, like if I already had diagrams,
like what I mean by that, like I get that he taught you that for basics.
Like if I already had diagrams and I could be like, oh, okay, like that's not must be true because I've made it work where they don't own the forge and Y has the mill, then I'll cross it off to narrow it down.
It's like, right? Yeah. So which is okay, so we're looking at 6 chart. If Y's own the mill. So I'm literally, we're literally looking at diagram 3, which the four must be true. So I'm like, okay, so F cannot be with F and I. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I literally see it already. But I'm not gonna tell you.
Oh, Trent owns the inn. B.
What? Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, wait. Oh, no, sorry, wait. Must be true. Oh, Williams on the...
Okay, so do you want to see what my thought process is as soon as I see this?
Yeah, because for me,
I put M in because the only one that works is in number 3. And I look over and think, okay, so if M's there, what are my other ones? F, I, and G. I'm like, oh, F and I can't be together. So I'm like, F, I, G.
Oh.
So I bet there's an answer that's S and G. C.
Oh, wait, you're doing...
Oh, sorry, I did the wrong. Oh, sorry. Sorry, if Y's own the mill, which of the following must be true? The Trents own the forge. No. The Trents own the inn. No. The Williams own the forge. No.
It's D.
Yeah, there we go. Awesome. And then number 17, how would you handle 17?
If one of the families owned both the granary and the inn, which one of the following could be true? So I probably would just put it into one of them and just try it.
If one of the families owned the G and the I. So I'm like, okay, so which ones? Okay, but what worlds can they own the G and the I?
So world 1 is possible.
Or
It could be 3 or 4.
No, it can't be 4.
Oh, sorry, 3.
Yep. So I'm here. So if we put G and I here,
Mhm.
does that mean anything else for the others?
Um,
I don't F and M. I don't think it matters. Just F and
yeah.
M back and forth. Okay. So which of the if one of the families owns the G and I, which of the following could be true? Yeah, I definitely would. So then I'm like, the Trents own the grade jury. Can that happen? No, that can't happen in either of them. The Trents own the mill.
Oh, it's
I think
B.
so because of B. Yeah. This is what's really nice on this could be true is we can check the other ones so easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get that.
Owns the forge. Like no, it can't happen. W owns the stable. No. The Y's own the inn. No. B. I think that's why I like it is because you get to double check like everything.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What about number
If
18?
Trent owned exactly one of the buildings, so we got World 1, which one of the following is a complete and or 2, sorry, which of the following is a complete and accurate list of the buildings, any of which could be the building that they own.
So I look at like what could if the Trents own exactly one,
It's E.
S, M, or F? I'm sorry, what letter did you say?
Sorry, E. The forge, the mill, the stable, they could
Yes,
have.
yep, perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and then what about them? Then I would go back to 15.
Which of the following is a pair of buildings that cannot both have been owned by the Trents? Oh, yeah, so this is the granary and the stable, because then we have um F, M, or I together in W, depending on whichever one Y has.
I'm sorry, can you say what letter you said again?
I said C.
G and S, because if we put G and S there, F, M, and I. But couldn't we put M and I and W and then have F and Y?
Oh yeah. So wait, then we can't have which following? If we have I, then we can't do. Oh, they can't have B, the granary and the mill, because then if it's in World War IV, then F and M are together.
You said the
Oh,
Greek.
sorry. It still can't be. Isn't it still C though? Because
It could be. Sorry, I'm listening to what you're saying and thinking for myself. What? Okay, so what letter do you want to go with?
let's go with. I want to do C and 4.
Okay, so but it can't be true in either of them. So this is the one thing where which of the following cannot be owned by the S's. So I agree with you here, where or cannot be. So here we would try it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it could only happen. It could happen in either of them. So if it's G or S, G or S, we have M, I, and F. So yeah, it doesn't work in 4, but
But it works in 3.
yeah, it works in 3, so it's not the yeah. So, but that's okay. Like we didn't waste a ton of time doing that, and I like your strategy of like thinking through which one you want to try out. So this would be my thought. Is it helpful for you to hear my thought process?
Yeah, no,
Okay. I
absolutely.
know for more advanced students, I feel like sometimes I lecture too much, but I think people do like to hear like this is how I would approach it.
Mm-hmm.
So F and G, could that be in T? So so I don't see any reason why not. And so I would like so for me, like if it could happen, for cannot be true, I skip it and don't try it.
Okay.
Wait, cannot both have been owned. Yeah, C is right, because this is a cannot be true, cannot happen question. So you're right. I mean,
Well, I understand why we thought it was wrong though, because
no, it can't happen. I literally was looking for what could be true. Because we have G and S here, and oh no, it could happen. Never mind.
yeah, because
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm
no,
so
no, it's okay.
I'm like, okay. Anyways, so okay, so that which of the following that cannot both
Oh,
okay.
it's D because T has to have S
Mm.
or Y has if T doesn't have S, then Y has to have I. So T can't have I.
I and M and not have S. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's yes.
Okay, that was easier than like even needing the world once you like take the time to actually think, oh, I and M.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know.
Okay, so I would have done here. Okay, so F and G, I would have been like, oh, there's nothing restricting that really. I think that could work. I would skip over it.
Mhm.
G and M, I would look at and be like, well, I don't see any reason why that can't happen. So I wouldn't like that.
Mhm.
C, I don't think I would have tried either, to be honest. But G, I, and M, that would have triggered something. I'm like, oh, I think I like that. I would have looked up, checked it, selected, and moved on. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really predicting it. How do you feel?
I feel